My name is Roger Johnson. I like taking pictures and I love to travel. Whether it's working as a professional tour guide, a flight attendant, or on my own for fun. Across America or around the world. This is my show. Hello and welcome to America. I am Roger Johnson. This is another exciting Welcome to America adventure update. I'm here with my good friend Steve Reisdorf. You and I worked together, and then we did an adventure together climbing the high point of Maine. And so we're not going to talk about high points today, though. But you're a commercial airline pilot.
Yep, I work for Endeavor Airlines.
And how long have you been doing that?
I've been working there for 27 years. 27
years.
Yep.
And you had a cool quote. Somebody posted on Facebook something about 10 things you don't know about being a pilot or something like this. And I didn't look at the whole thing. I think it was ripping on the lifestyle of all the downsides of being an airline pilot. And you said something along the lines of, if you love to fly, even though you fly hundreds of hours every year, on your days off, you still love to fly. You just want to be in that cockpit.
Yep.
And people that get it, you don't have to explain it to, and people that don't get it, don't get it. Kind of is the same way interest in space travel. Where do you get this interest, this passion for aviation and for space travel?
You know, I don't know. It all started when I was a little boy. They were actually going to the moon, and during the 60s and late 70s or early 70s, and I can remember them going to the moon. I can remember all of the Apollo missions, and so that's where my bug for aviation came.
And what were you? So you were saying when we were talking before, you were born the day after Yuri Gagarin?
I was born April 11th, 1961, and Yuri Gagarin did his mission on April 12th, 1961.
Okay.
So pretty much I've been living the space race, the whole
okay.
Year, so.
And we don't all get to be astronauts.
No.
But you can still go out and visit visit Spacecraft. I've visited all of them. This is the cool thing I've done. Here's my prop. This is just my Mercury, so I've visited all the different spacecraft, and I've got the mission patch next to them. That one's fallen down. You didn't start doing this until recently. 2008.
During one of my high point adventures, I was out in Ohio, and we just happened to be in Dayton, and going to Campbell Hill, and my wife said, well, let's go to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
The National Museum of the United States Air Force.
Yep, and it's free, which was great. So we went there for about, actually almost a whole day. And we started walking through it, and I didn't realize that at the end, all of a sudden, there's Apollo 16, or the Endeavor. And so I said, hey, honey, I got to get a picture of me next to this capsule. And so I did, and I thought, well, I gotta try to find all of these things. So then that's when I started in 2008. I started, and I have about 7 of them. 7 of them. Okay, you've got a ways to go. I got a ways,
but it's fun to explore. And Rodney was asking this question. Aren't they all the same? You go to one, and there is something different. And you learn things, though, don't you?
Yes, you learn, and you can read about these things. You can read about different things, like the thrusters and all these other things. But until you actually physically see it, and
be this close to touching it.
Well, that's it. And you're like this, and you're looking at it, and you're like, oh, now that's how that thruster actually looked. Or, with the Gemini capsules, I've seen 2 of them now. Or not the Gemini, but the Mercury. And I said, wow, okay, and that's actually really cramped in there. And you read about it, and you see pictures.
You wouldn't fit.
No, there's no way I would have been fit.
No, but if anybody ever wants to do this, the best place to get started, well, there's 2 good places, but the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. is also free, and it's like all of aviation history right when you walk in the door.
Yeah.
But included in that is John Glenn's Friendship 7, American Eagle, the first American spacewalk was done from that. It was Ed White. And who was I'm going to stump you now because I don't know the answer.
McDivitt, I think it's McDivitt.
And then the Apollo 11 command module, Columbia, is there.
Yep.
And what a great place to to get started. And so many just monumental.
And there's actually what do we say? Skylab 3 is also there. So you can actually get 4 or 5 of them done.
And then you have not been to the Uzvar, I don't know how to pronounce it, Uzvar Hazde Center out by the airport at Washington, D.C. Dulles.
I haven't been there yet.
They've got the big stuff. The Enola Gay is out there, and just full-size big airplanes that they can't fit in the mall. They used to have the Space Shuttle Enterprise, which wasn't really a space shuttle because it never went into space. But they switched it to the Discovery not too long ago after they retired the shuttles. You need to fly out there because it's easy to do.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to get out there.
It's because you can take a bus from the airport, and they've got lockers there. You can throw your bag in, and so it's like there you are, and it's close enough you could almost touch it. So very cool. But now I did all 3 remaining space shuttles in the course of a week this past winter. I went to California for the day. The Space Shuttle Endeavour is there, and that one's kind of it was disappointing when I walked in the room because it looks like my uncle's pole barn, but it's a temporary facility. They're gonna do that upright. They've got plans that you can go and look at, and they're gonna put it up vertical on the stack with the boosters in the external tank and everything. You get to walk up tunnels around it. And then the best one and another good place to go if you want to get started doing this, Kennedy Space Center. You've been there.
I've been around it. I haven't actually been there. I mean, there's a story that goes there, but
okay.
But I wanted to go. I wanted to go there, but my family was there, and my family and my kids aren't really involved in
different interests.
They're different interests, and I don't think they would have gotten bored.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go there by myself, or with somebody like you, or someone who's really into space, and actually be able to sit there for hours on end, just staring at different things. So
I'm trying to remember which ones were there. Apollo 14 was there. The Astronaut Hall of Fame is not on the Kennedy Center property. It's a little bit off. I'm trying to remember which one is there. There's you might know offhand. You've got it on your phone.
I got it on
but so there's several right there. But then the best space shuttle exhibit, I went there. That was the first thing that I did this last time I was there. The Atlantis is there, and they go through the pre-show, and you spend money to get in there. The other museums are free, and so they're not quite as fancy, the exhibits. And they do the pre-show, and you go in and you watch this thing, and then this door opens up, and there's the space shuttle right in front of you.
Yes,
larger than life.
My brother actually went there, and he, I was actually on I was working, and he texted me real quick. He says, "Steve, this is so great," he says, and he told me that he actually saw the space shuttle because he was down there.
Okay.
And he said, "You got to come down here, and you got to see this." And I'm like, "Oh," I was actually kind of jealous of him.
Yeah, it's a very well done. I mean, state of the art, museum exhibits, and then you can do the tours of the Kennedy Space Center as well. And this last time I was there, I lucked out. I managed to. This narrow window of opportunity, the space shuttle launch pads where they launched them from, the one was completely torn down. The other one was still intact. The week before they had signed the lease agreement with SpaceX. So they're going to tear that all down and then reconfigure it to whatever their requirements are. So I got to see that right before they were going to start dismantling it. Got up right up close to it. And then because the shuttle was not being used anymore, the vehicle assembly building, where they assembled the Apollo 11 and all the Apollo and space shuttles, because they don't have volatile chemicals and fuel and stuff in there, it was open to tours. So I got to go inside, and that was the cool part for me, is they had their replica of the Orion spacecraft, which was going to replace the space shuttle. But so I got to go inside there. They had the replica of that, and so that's closed now. They don't do tours inside there anymore because they're gearing up for the new program. So it's always cool and always fun. And you're going to, what did you say next? Kansas next?
I'm going to go to Kansas. I'll be actually in Wichita, and then so what I'll do is I'll rent a car and I'll go over to Hutchinson. And there's a Gemini, a Mercury and a Apollo 13.
13 is there, yeah.
And Gus Grissom's MR3.
Liberty Bell 7. And,
Liberty Bell 7. And I can't remember which Gemini is
one of the Geminis.
One of the Geminis.
And so, yeah. So these things are all over the place. Yeah. Well, and then there's the one in London. And that one's the toughest one to get to, the Apollo 10 command module. Charlie Brown, which was the mission before Apollo 11.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Way too much stuff to see.
I know,
but
it's fun.
But easier than high points.
Yeah.
And you learn a thing or two about space and science. And no, I was going to show you this, and I didn't. This is where my interest in space travel comes from. When we were kids, this was one of the books we got. You said you had this thing, and this thing is beat to pieces. It has fallen apart just because we used it so much. But then every year for Christmas, we would get, when we were kids, 7, 8, whatever, 6, we would get a Charlie Brown encyclopedia. That's in pretty nice shape still. The Charlie Brown Super Book of Answers on Space Travel. That one's fallen apart. You can imagine how much we looked through that thing. But yeah, so that's where I got my interest in space travel. You obviously got to see those things launch. And
yeah, I can remember when I was a kid in grade school, they had this a book about the same size. It was a Time Life book about space, and that's all it said was space on it. And I would always go down to the library and check it out all the time, and I'd constantly be checking this out, and then I'd go and renew it all the time.
Yeah.
And the librarian at my grade school said, "You got to stop doing this, Steve." So then my mom and dad found out what book it was, and then one Christmas, I can't remember, when I was maybe 8 or 7, somewhere around there, I got the same book for Christmas, and now I still have that in my library at home. And it's same kind of thing, and so. Yeah. And
why that sparks an interest in one kid versus another, and No, I remember one last story, and then we'll wrap it up here.
Okay.
I didn't get to see any of the Apollos go up, or the Apollo Soyuz or the Skylabs. I vaguely remember the Skylabs, I think, and I remember when they deorbited it and it burned up, and they had a piece of it at the Miss America pageant. But the first mission that I remember was the first space shuttle launch, and we were at school, elementary school, and they had a TV in the cafeteria, and we were going to get to watch it. And then there was a delay, and we had to go back to class, and I cried because I wanted to see that so bad. But I did get to see a real space shuttle launch.
Never.
And I don't remember what the number is. It was the first one after the Challenger accident. We just happened to be going down to Florida, and we got to see that one. So we'll wrap it up. We'll show you that because we've got video of it.
3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Roger, roll, Discovery. Crew confirms roll program. Houston now controlling. 3 engines at 104%.
And then, so that's it for this adventure update. We used to do them monthly, so I get mixed up when I start talking. Check out my website, welcometoamerica.us. I've got pictures of all my spacecraft that I visited, and you can be inspired to do your own space tour. And so, thank you for stopping on
having
by.
me.
So, I'll give you a Welcome to America pass. Did I give you one yet? I'll give you a Welcome to America passport.
I got one.
You do? Okay.
You already got
then
one.
I don't have to give you nothing. I'm Roger Johnson, the world's first self-proclaimed welcome sign photography expert. I've got a photo of myself next to a welcome sign in all 50 U.S. states and the District of Columbia. And if you don't believe me, I've got a certificate to prove it, which I do need to sign. But that's not the point. The point is, if you've got obsessive compulsive travel disorder like I do, also known as OCTD or the travel bug, you know how much fun it is to keep track of your travel. I've been to all 50 states at least 4 times or more, and I do know how much fun it is to keep meticulous records. I've taken welcome sign photos, I've built complicated websites, produced expensive, time-consuming, award-winning travel documentaries. I put stickers on my van. I've drawn on maps and on myself. It's too much. But now I've found a better way. The Roger Johnson's Welcome to America passport. It's got the look and feel of a real passport. You can customize your passport with your name, personal information, photo, and signature on the information page. Pre-printed stamps for each state contain the date of statehood, as well as mottos, nicknames, landmarks, and symbols unique to each state. See? You can track your travels by coloring in the map in the back, as well as checking off each state and taking notes in the state checklist. So whether you're traveling by land, sea, or air, if it's your first state, your last, or somewhere in between, you too can track your travels with your very own Welcome to America passport. The Welcome to America passport is not an official document issued by any government agency. It is not required for travel anywhere in the United States, world, or known universe. It is strictly for fun as you track your own travels to all 50 United States and the District of Columbia. Buy yours today at welcometoamerica.us/passport. So if I figure I sell 2 million of these and I make $1 off of each one, I'll be a millionaire.